Welcome to the Small Business Tax Savings Podcast, powered by Jetro. Each week, we bring extremely valuable accounting and tax tips specific to small business owners. You will be on your way to growing your business and putting more money in your pockets. Here's your host.
Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today's topic is on tax due dates, and we're also going to go through the 2020 tax guide. Now, before we get into that, this episode is brought to you by Jetro, a digital accounting firm servicing business owners around the country, helping them relieve stress around financials and save thousands in taxes. I am your host and founder of Jetro, Mike Jesowshek. Now, today's episode is going to be a little bit different. Like I said, we're going to talk about some tax due dates because we are coming up in kind of the middle of tax season here, so we want to touch on that. And I also want to go through our 2020 tax guide and some of the changes that are happening there for 2020. So for 2019, I just want to first touch on the tax due dates as we're coming up on some of these deadlines. So March 16th is the first kind of tax return deadline. And on March 16th, partnership tax returns, these would be LLCs that are partnerships, just regular partnerships. These are filed on Form 1065, and they are due on March 16th. And the reason it's the 16th is because the 15th is a Sunday. Typically, these are due on March 15th. Because it's a Sunday, they extend it out to the 16th. S corporations, which are filed on Form 1120S, are also due on March 16th. So partnerships and S corporations are due on March 16th. Now, you can also still file an extension, and that extension has to be filed by March 16th, and then your actual return gets extended, and the deadline for that extension tax return is September 15th. C corporations, which would be on Form 1120, are due on April 15th, along with individual tax returns. That's Form 1040 as well, due on April 15th. This would be if you're a single member LLC, you file your return on a Schedule C, you're not an S corporation, or you're not a partnership. These would also be included in your individual tax return due on April 15th. Again, you are able to extend your returns, so you can extend by April 15th. If you extend, your new deadline is then October 15th. Now, it's important to note that when you extend a tax return, it does not extend your time to make your tax payment. So if you're expecting an amount to be due, make sure you make that payment with your extension and then just file your return along with anything, refund or amount due by that October 15th deadline. Now, some kind of minor and other related tax returns that might be relevant to you. If you have any foreign bank accounts, the foreign bank account report is due on April 15th, along with estates and trust returns. Those are due on April 15th, and gift tax returns are also due on April 15th. Estimated taxes. So these would be estimated tax payments that business owners make for the year of 2020. So this would be estimated tax payments related to your 2020 earnings. The first quarter is due on April 15th of 2020. The second quarter is due on June 15th of 2020. Q3, September 15th of 2020, and Q4, January 15th of 2021. So again, just a quick run through those tax due dates. Partnerships and S Corp returns are due on March 16th. If you extend, then it extends that date out to September 15th. C corporations and individual tax returns, including Schedule Cs, are due on April 15th. If you extend, that new date is October 15th. Okay, now for some of the changes, and these are going to be items related to 2020. So this is for your 2020 tax return that we'll be filing this time next year. The corporate tax rate for C corporations remains the same at 21%. The standard mileage rate for 2020 is actually 57.5 cents, so 57.5. It's down from 58 cents in 2019. So the standard mileage rate went down about a half a cent. The standard deduction for 2020 is $12,400 for single filers and $24,800 for married filing jointly filers. That's up from $12,200 and $24,400 in 2019. The IRA contribution limit remains the same, $6,000 per year, or $7,000 if you're over 50. The SEP IRA maximum for 2020 is going to be $13,500. That's up from $13,000 in 2019. And the 401k maximum for 2020 is $19,500, Again, that's up from $19,000 in 2019. So just kind of a summary of what we talked about. Again, partnerships and S Corp due March 16th. If you extend, September 15th. C corporations and individual tax returns due April 15th. If you extend, October 15th. Estimated tax returns for Q1, April 15th. For Q2, June 15th. For Q3, September 15th. And for Q4, January 15th. Some of the changes is standard mileage rate went down 0.5 cent, so 57.5 cents standard mileage rate for 2020. 2019 is still at that 58 cents. Standard deduction went up a little bit for both single and married filing jointly. IRA contribution limit stays the same. And the SEP IRA went up $500, so you can contribute $500 more in 2020 than you could in 2019. That's up to $13,500. And the 401k maximum as well went up $500, up to $19,500 in 2020 versus $19,000 in 2019. So keep some of those things in mind. I'm also going to include a link in our show notes to our 2020 Pocket Tax Guide. So feel free to download that if you'd like. There's a link in there to download that in the show notes where you can get more information on some of these kind of key numbers, due dates, things like that. I also want to remind you that we're having a giving initiative from now until the end of March. So for every podcast review we receive, we will be donating meals to the homeless. And so this is an opportunity for you as a listener to join us in this charitable giving initiative. All you have to do is leave a review and comment on iTunes for our podcast. And based on how many new reviews and comments we're receiving on iTunes, we're going to in turn make a donation to Meals to the Homeless. So, I'd appreciate if you guys can help join us with that. It's a thing that we do at this time of year with our tax clients. So people that do tax returns with us, based on the amount of returns we file, we also donate meals to the homeless. So I wanted to give you guys as listeners the opportunity to also kind of take place in this charitable giving initiative that we're running. So keep that in mind. As always, with 2020 here, our episodes are based on listener questions. So if there's a topic that you want to hear more about, shoot me an email, shoot us a comment on our website where we can include that topic in our future episode. So I hope this was helpful. Again, just wanted to kind of talk some numbers, talk some due dates to kind of give you an idea now that we're over halfway through tax season. We're coming up on some deadlines. One, to make you aware of those deadlines so that you can plan appropriately. If you need to extend, again, the due dates are March 16th, and April 15th. That's when the tax return is due or an extension needs to be filed. If you file that extension, it does extend the requirement to file out until September or October. So keep that in mind. And thanks again for listening to this week's episode. I will see you next week. Now, one last thing before I go. Don't forget to check out our podcast website at www.taxsavingspodcast.com. That's taxsavingspodcast.com. This is a great resource to go and check out our most recent episodes, as well as find extra items if you want to take what we discuss here and dive deeper. Again, also join our Facebook group where we share tons of value, and you have the opportunity to bring situations you are faced with to the table, and we'll help you out in that Facebook group, and other business owners will support you as well. You can join by simply searching in Facebook for the Small Business Tax Secrets group. Again, it's a Facebook group called Small Business Tax Secrets, and there should be a group that pops up that you can join.
This has been another episode of the Small Business Tax Savings Podcast from the team at Jetro. If you enjoy our weekly episodes, please leave a review on whatever platform you listen to us on and share with other business owners. If you have any questions or future topics you want to hear, email them to tax@jetrotax.com. Thanks for listening and have a great day.